was like they're not drinking anything, and I don't usually spend money, but how does that like work in terms of attraction? Like since I invited them over to a different bar and stuff, do I like buy them drinks now or something?
I'm
Um,
not personally concerned about that. I don't give a shit
doesn't
either way. And I would never pay for a woman's drink. I only ever did it
Why would you buy
once
them
in my
drinks if
entire
they're not
life.
drinking?
Sorry.
Why would you buy them drinks if they're not drinking?
Oh, it's like they actually wanted to drink, but
They have no money.
uh I had, but I just didn't want
No, they have
to,
no money.
kind of like
You
I
didn't want
don't
to
know.
leave them
They
out. You just
Sorry.
wanted them to be very social or something like that.
Yeah, yeah, just like I mean like we were talking, but they were like I felt like they wanted to get a drink but didn't want to ask. And I was not asking them for like if I would like to buy them drinks as well. I was just like I just have my drink as well. Um and I just wanted to know like how does that work? Does it like should I have bought them drinks or like I don't
No.
know. No.
No, I'll
It's
say no.
almost never the right idea.
Yeah, because I didn't want it to look like, okay, I'm giving this in exchange for you guys coming with me or whatever.
Yeah, you never want to have that in that position. I don't know if there's like a different culture in different countries. Well, of course there is, right? But as far as this, no, you get them to. So you're saying they didn't follow you because basically they had no reason to in
They
your
fo No, they followed me because I opened them outside the bar and I was
right.
with my friends. And then they suddenly like wanted to join us going somewhere. And then when we went to that bar, um, I just bought my drink and then we were just like talking. And then I felt like
I
usually
get
what
it.
happens with them is guys buy them drinks. And then right now, no one's buying them drink or something. And I
Yeah,
was,
yeah.
yeah.
That social pressure. Yeah, I understand. First off, fuck these girls who just want free drinks from guys, right? I will feel that also. Oh, she just wants me to buy her a drink. She's patiently waiting for me to buy her a drink, and I will like revel in that social pressure, like knowing that she's not gonna get a fucking drink off of me. I will try to be like you know, fun and interesting and all of these things, to try and
Right.
counteract that. And
Right.
if she's eventually still not, yeah, she's still not going to fall into the frame as like I don't need a drink, then like, fucking let her leave, you know? A girl like that,
Right.
if she needs you to buy her a drink, she's not interested in anything else. And forget
I
this
just
like
don't like expectations.
yeah, forget this mainstream narrative as well. Like, oh, you're buying an opportunity to talk to her. No, real guys with game don't need to do that. All right. And, so you don't need to be like, how do I win this girl over? Like,
There are
Right.
some
Right.
guys who
not by
would
buying her a
say
drink.
alpha males would buy her. No, forget about that. Some guys genuinely say these things like an alpha male would buy her a drink.
Mhm.
A
I
gentleman.
seen this recently. It wasn't necessarily buying her a drink, but something similar to it. But it's just ridiculous. Personally, a culture comes into this. Like in the USA, it's going to be much more along the lines of like, if you invited her, you're the one who's fucking paying. I don't like this shit. I
Mhm.
am a cheapskate, Jewish lumberjack redneck, who comes from a broke family, not a broken family, but a poor family. So the idea of buying someone else something just never occurs to me because of how I was personally raised. So it's just like I don't even tip. And there's like what Joe was saying, he intentionally makes it um the pressure build up or whatever. I just simply don't give a shit either. Like if someone expects me to tip just because I dine at their restaurant, I don't give a shit. I'll just say, no, I'm a Jew. I literally said this last time I went to a restaurant was maybe 2 days ago. I said, no, I'm Jewish. I said that in Spanish, and I just use that all the time. I don't bow down to social norms or social conventions. I've been doing it all my life. It's nothing new that came along after I learned about game being a thing. It's something I simply always been doing,
But
and
also
nobody has
the main
arrested
thing,
me for not buying a fucking drink or not
right?
tipping.
And the main thing is that when you do that, you come across as someone who feels like they need to pay to pay for a woman's attention, so it immediately lowers your value in their minds, and it also shows that you don't get it, like you don't get it socially because you don't understand that the real fucking champion guys don't need to do that.
Right.
So
Here's
it's almost
what
never
you
a good
can
idea.
do. You could be like, you see that sucker, because all these suckers, these men are buying women drinks all the time. I had there was a friend of mine years ago when I was like a late teen or something, and I ran into him and haven't seen him in years. Ran into him at night, and he was coming back from a bar that he went to, and we shared a taxi home. And he spent almost $200 in my currency buying drinks for multiple women, and he was going home alone with me. Not with
Yeah.
me. We were sharing a taxi on the way
Yeah.
back to the neighborhood. And yeah, he was going home with by himself and two friends. There was one other guy there who we also knew. So we were just like splitting this taxi by convenience. And he spent $200 nearly and went home alone. So there's no correlation that I kind of witness. It's just like I'm the kind of I was even I'll give you another example. I was talking to a Ukrainian coworker of mine in my last job a few years ago, and she was telling me this was just after the war started, or got heated in 2022. And she was telling me how she would go on dates almost every night just to get a free meal. And
Yeah.
instead of telling her that's bad or stuff, I was asking her for more information. I was like, that's funny. Tell me more. I just want to learn like her
Yeah.
perspective. And she's just using these men, suckers, to pay for her food because she just came from a war zone, and now she like doesn't have money from Ukraine or anything. She's just exploiting men for free food. So in that kind of scenario, I don't know how many women you're with, but let's say there were five there. I would say to one, you want a drink? But I'm not offering her one. I'm saying, you want a drink? If she says yes, then I might say, you see that sucker over there? Ask him and see if
That's
he
a
will
good
buy you one. It's like, how
Yeah.
many of these guys would buy her a drink?
Right. Yeah, that's cool. I think I'm
That
gonna
could be
use that
She
very
does
fun
not
conversation.
need my allocation of resources. There are plenty of suckers here who will do it. And I don't have to do anything. I could just be, I could have a fun twist on it. I could then be
You
like,
could
let's
say
do a
you could
social
really play up
experiment.
on that. You could say he looks like the kind of bar guy who would buy girls drinks.
He looks like the
Yeah.
kind of
He
sucker
looks really
who
nice. Yeah.
he looks like a nice guy. Yeah, because you're having this differentiation. I'm not that guy. So, but that person is probably. So you see, we could make it fun, have a twist on it in so many kinds of ways. For example, let's do a social experiment. How many guys can you manipulate into getting a drink for you? Because you're just being clear with them. You're not going to do it, but someone else can. So it's no big deal. You're making it fun.
Yeah.
You're giving the proposition to them instead
Right.
of enabling them to be awkward about it and like, oh, I wish this guy buys me a drink. But I'm just saying, clarifying to her, I'm not going to buy you a drink, but one of these suckers could do it for you. Let's make a
Right.
fun situation out of it instead of take it so seriously.